In 2007, Uganda became the first country in sub-Saharan Africa to introduce universal secondary education. This was in addition to the earlier universal primary education in 1997, which increased school enrollment of school-going boys and girls in the country. The Education Plus initiative is aimed at reducing HIV infections among adolescent girls, young women and boys as partners, reduce early sexual debut, early marriage and pregnancy, creation of better opportunities and transit to work.
I hail the Ministry of Education and Sports for standing firm in the post-COVID period and coming up with policies that promote re-entry into school of teenage pregnant girls, of girls who have been victims of sexual and gender-based violence, of girls who have children they've left back at home. That opportunity to come back to school and complete or continue with the educational journey is the best gift that any government, any country can give to its children.
However, in the recent past, the country has experienced a high rate of school dropouts, especially among the girl child, which has exposed them to early marriages and pregnancies, HIV, and other forms of violence.
As a head teacher, I have experienced children going out of school, basically because of lack of what to use.
I would say psychosocial issues. When you go into them, you find that there is something terribly wrong in the home. Daddy and mommy, they are separate.
In 2021, the country registered the highest number of teenage pregnancies in a decade, with Busoga sub-region registering the highest cases, mostly in districts of Mayuge, Kamoli, and Wujiri.
People are very poor in these parts of the country, in that even those who appreciate education, it becomes very hard for them to support and facilitate their children to get education. They even lack the guidance at home. You find that in most cases, we can be doing guidance at school as technical people, because for us we are grounded in such areas as teachers. You do your part, guidance and counsel, but it is at times lopsided. The parents are not doing their part, and because of that, if the children don't get a balanced guidance and counseling, at the end of the day, they get into issues and they don't acquire the necessary education.
At Budatemwa village in Chitaimbwa sub-county, almost half of school-going adolescent girls are known studying, with the majority at home, digging, while others are already teenage mothers.
Kati ngawe mwidi abasaada kankopo oba balimbalimba abani mbalimba kati zena nalowooza nti oba nti muntu mutegeevu ali kunkoba kumbe tasobola nakuntwala.
Kati wano waliwo omukazi ye nga muntu we nga ye nantumikiza. Kati olwasooka naye yantumikiza nga simanyi muvuuka nga sesirimanyi, n'aŋŋamba jangu tugende lyali kiro, n'aŋŋamba jangu tugende, ne tugenda bulungi.
In Buyende district, we met another teenage mother, Hadija Nachisege, whose dream of becoming a nurse hangs in balance after giving birth to a baby boy.
Yakobati nja kubembaga. Nakubanze nkakola ki nkasoma. Yampa olubuto. Bampa olubuto. Nze naati abazaire. Kola ki okunkuba. Yakobati kola nkulumiseewo. Yanumusawo yandeeta awo. Embeera tinungi. Era nze nenda kwirayo ku isomero. Ayakobazira sente.
Unlike other teenagers, Nachisege's parents were committed to paying for her school fees, but for fear of being punished, her man took her to a neighboring district where he unfortunately dumped her.
Embeera tinungi. Era nze nenda kwirayo ku isomero. Ayakobazira sente. Nenda kuba musawo. Amala nafuna enda nabibwamu. Shusha yange yemereiraawo etyo. Tidi kijaba mbere, ale tidi kijava inyuma. Yena ndi awo bawo. Nabisibwa bubi. Nshali wona bleeding ino. Nawona kufa.
Locals in these communities blame the confusion on poverty, deception from men, and neglect from parents.
Ekyamatola mu isomero nga nzira tutuzira bulungi sente. Baba yena nga azira kyakola.
abawala abalala obwetaavu bwo balina buki bungi kale chapati zibamalidde ki ebiseera.
Omwana yali alimala okusoma COVID neyaida batyama bwe yatyama yafuna obuzibu yafuna mwana mwine.
Abazadde abalala tebafaayo kubanga ne wano ndina omusajja omu alina abaana agendayo emirundi giswikamu 5 ng'amugamba nti zaayo ki abaana ku ssomero genda oyogera naki n'abasomesa nabo bantu nga ggwe naye omusajja oyo teyafaayo.
The moment religion was made optional in schools, I think we hit a dead end.
What you set out to do will determine your destiny. Assuming this parent in Kasangati, because we are here in Gayaza, thrives on a tomato stall, and this is the source of income, should the girl go and become a prostitute? Should she drop out of school because the tomato stall can't help her go to university? This stall is equivalent to that garden in Busoga. It's the mindset. If the parent is keen on having this child go to school and finish, with or without a lot of money, but with this little they have, they'll make it through. Determination is the key.
Some of the parents, however, expressed their desire to take their children back to school despite their challenges.
Wabanga alikuendera twamukoba kutuyirayo osome era tusobola omwezaayo kusoma kukuja wangulu ne future enungi ey'omwana. Omwana aba tasomye afuna musaada abateme bikaado. Ayi wabanga asomye lowooza ateme bikaado asobola omukumwepankirako.
Nenda abe musawo kale n'ekigendererwa okulwanisa awo wona kuba baba iwe abalese bato. Natuula nako okusomesako ng'atyenda abaana bange bakole ki ntuulaine ayo yafuna ekizibu ekyo nalwala bantaako n'amaadi kale namukaa nti mbe akaati tikairayo wabula anooneza school fees ndireyo nkole ki ku isomero.
Nonetheless, government refutes the accusation given the free education it has put across at all levels.
The government has come out and said you have a UPE school in the neighborhood here. You have a universal secondary education school here in the neighborhood. Why don't you go and proceed with your education?
An average Ugandan, wherever he or she finds herself, has no excuse whatsoever of not offering an opportunity to children, especially the girl child, of accessing school and education. You must have heard about universal secondary education. Government goes even further to say even those that may not make it in the traditional secondary schools where the programs are largely academic, there's also what they call universal post-primary education and training, where in these training institutions where people acquire vocational skills, even that education is free on the part of government.
Teenage pregnancies have hindered the attainment of higher education to many girls. However, to Mercy Ajalo Roth, a mother to a 2-year-old girl, the story is different.
I was pregnant in 2020. I was in Form 3 by then, and I gave birth to a girl child. After giving birth, the school was opened, and I went back. And then the pandemic dropped in again. We were sent back home. After coming back home, I was breastfeeding the child, taking care of her. Then this very year, when they opened, I decided still to go back because I really want to study.
The government of Uganda has made significant interventions to respond not only to those who have already dropped out, but also to those who wish to continue with their studies.
We came up with the guidelines, and our minister approved the guidelines, championed the whole cause, and these guidelines were disseminated. They were guiding these little ones on how they could keep themselves safe.
With proper guidance and counseling, educationalists believe these teenagers can still fulfill their career dreams.
this girl should be given a second chance. If this child is prepared psychologically to come back to school, they are going to be better Ugandans.
Producing is not a crime that it can refuse her from coming back to study. Even if she produces, she can come back and study, and she performs even better than those who did not produce.
Puberty, one of the stages of growth in women, comes with a lot of challenges to the girl child, and at times it affects their performances at school.
There is a level of permissiveness that comes with this kind of growth. It comes with a level where they don't want to be controlled by rules and regulations.
You feel you have grown up, you want to do what you want, you start getting attractions, you want to be next to men. So these bodily changes, if they are not really handled critically, you can end up losing yourself.
Some of them develop complexes as a result of these body changes. And I think mainly because they are not guided.
When you're in senior one and you haven't had your menstruation yet, it's okay. Our first week of orientation, we take them through all of these details. And then we prepare them and tell them when this happens, it's normal. You just thank God and tell God, finally, I'm a woman.
To some of the girls, it's a devastating experience, but they have learned how to handle.
We usually have the menstruation periods, then the growing of pubic hair in the armpits and the other private parts. So, you know, when that hair grows, you tend to have a stench. You smell.
I can get embarrassed, I can get self-neglect, like I feel these boys are going to be talking about me, about this and this, this and this, this and this. But then when I'm with girls and they're talking, well, I know we are going to go through the same situation, we go through the same body changes, so it's definitely okay with me.
Here, if you are in menstruation, they don't provide us with sanitary pads because it happens accidentally to some who don't know.
Teachers believe this is a fundamental stage in the growth and development of a girl child that requires high levels of responsiveness.
A girl child needs to feel loved, needs to be commended when she has done something good, needs to be told you are beautiful and you are looking nice today.
If there is nobody to guide them, to counsel them, they can lose completely. And when somebody is hopeless, then the rest of the things ahead of him or her are almost useless.
It starts with a parent. And if the father parent empowers this child, my father kept on telling me, you're the most beautiful woman in the world. Meaning, when I hear it from another man, I'll know I'm already beautiful. So you're not telling me anything new.
Girls are subjected to many distractors that occasionally entice and divert them from studies. However, they have sought solace in their role models to keep them on track.
My role model is my grandmother. She is a very loving person. She is caring, God-fearing, and she always encourages me.
My role model is Duchess Catherine Middleton of Britain. She's one of the most few women in the world who has endured many hardships being part of the royal family of England. Many people see it as a curse, but she has managed in all that she can. The criticism, the ways of being a woman in such a family. I admire her persistence.
My role model is a teacher here. She's Madame Gamba. Whenever I look at her, I say, let me study. Also, I will succeed. I will achieve my goal.
Youth and married men are a hindrance to keeping young girls in school because they engage them in sexual relationships by luring them with small gifts and money. We spoke to a number of girls and they shared how they manage such situations.
As a girl child, I know what I want. I have a goal, or what I can tell them, that let them be patient, because patience pays.
Such issues, I first talk to my matron. So when the matron doesn't approach my concern, I go to the deputy. From the deputy, if the deputy also doesn't approach my concern, I move to the HM.
Girls are at the highest risk of acquiring HIV than boys, with 5 out of 6 new cases of HIV among adolescents between 15 and 19 years being girls. During the interview, the same group of girls expressed their knowledge about HIV.
I fear HIV. When you contract that disease, it affects you very much.
As me as a person, I fear. But other girls, they say that is flu.
We also discussed with the young girls and boys on what they know about sexual reproductive health and rights.
They told me that if you are still in school, you should not interact sex. You can acquire HIV. You can acquire some diseases.
I'm aware that through sexual intercourse, we can be affected with several diseases.
We asked the girls what they feel about being girls.
A girl child is a blessed gender. We have very many opportunities in life. We experience motherhood. We experience the ability to love others, to care for others, to dream big. We experience the chance to overcome all kinds of responsibilities that may come our way.
I'm proud to be a girl because I know we girls also we can.
We as girls, we have many chances in this world.
During the interaction, boys also expressed their concerns over being discriminated in school and communities at the expense of girls.
Since I've studied from my primary, I've never seen that they are promoting boys. When I was in around P5, P4, they promoted, it was a girls' day on my primary school where I was. That was my first day to hear about girls' day. But from then up to now, I've never heard of boys' day.
When you're in school here, we boys, we are not favored like the girls. The girls are being favored. If they are marking papers, they say, this one is a girl. And if you are going for the meal, they can say girls first.
Teachers explain the importance of equipping girls with hands-on skills.
We give these children, the girls, skills that will enable them live a happy life even after school.
Somebody comes out who is competent enough to survive on his or her own and is depicted in that person.
For all the education we are giving these children, let there be skilling. And I strongly appreciate the Ministry of Education and Sports for the vocational subjects that are now on this revised curriculum.
In that regard, girls share the benefits that come with equipping themselves with livelihood skills.
I can sing, I can wave, I can do a lot of things.
They're going to feel like, yeah, they can do it. Even if a man decides to move away from the woman, she's still able to look after herself. If she has kids, she's also able to look after her children.
Although teachers have embraced the new curriculum, they urged government to provide them with more studying materials.
The skills that we give them are supposed to give them a light to get something to eat when they drop out of school.
We are in an ICT era, for example, but not so many of our schools have access to the ICT gadgets. And therefore, such schools or such students are left behind in that area.
Teachers explain the role of different stakeholders in keeping children in school.
It is combined effort, starting with a parent who pays the fees.
Parents have a key role, a very, very big role to play.
Regardless of the status, the girl child must be kept in school by policy.
Take the child to school. As a parent, create time to talk to your child and show the child the importance of education. It starts at home.
The teachers have to do their roles. The parents should do their roles. The government should play their role. The ministry, education, the policies they set up.
I think the government also has a duty to sensitize the population, and that includes our children. We need to sensitize our children so that they know what this package called education involves.
Men, Let the girls stay in school. I like the strong arm of government to deal with men who keep on pregnanting young girls who are in school.
Like the men who had pregnanted girls during the COVID, for them they're out there, most of them are not giving help to their kids and the girls are suffering, so the government should take an action on those men.
You are the source of attraction. You are the ones who give a few gifts here and there. You are the ones filled with deception. You wash down everything you have told them in school by lying to them.
The overall Education Plus initiative is built on 4 pillars, which, if well utilized, fundamental achievements will be realized.
Completion of girls' education. That means from the early childhood education to primary or basic education to secondary education to university or tertiary institutions and also to other vocational institutions. Believing that when that happens, you minimize the chance for these girls to be engaged in other things that may be harmful to their sexual reproductive health and therefore prevent them from contracting STIs and other vices. So one approach, therefore, is to ensure that girls enroll in school, they remain in school, they complete in school, and they transit from school to the world of work.